Hey.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Friday Fire. It is Friday, November 19th, 2021. This is episode 7 of season 2 of Friday Fire. I'm really glad that you all could be with us. Everybody else that's watching online, maybe you'll catch up on this episode at another time. But we're just glad to have you as part of our audience. And I'm super excited to have our guest today, Gina Stickley. Gina, welcome to the program.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and so Gina is with Stickley Studios, and I'm going to give her an opportunity right now to explain all that she does because she's very experienced in her
Mm.
field and has done some amazing things. And I think that she could tell the story a lot better than me. So, Gina, let the people know who you are, a little bit about what you're doing with Stickley Studios and your background, because you definitely have a wealth of experience and expertise in your field.
Cool. Okay. So basically, what I do now in my career is I do live show management and presentation, and I'm a presentation development expert. So, what I do is I'm sort of a strategic and creative advisor with about 20 plus, almost 30 years experience in the creative and the production side of live shows, like it could be a concert, or it could be a huge public meeting for a corporation, or it could even just be a stage production. But I also do public speaking coaching with executives who want to kind of increase their skills in presentation development.
Excellent. And you are no stranger to entertainment. Tell us a little bit about your background in the entertainment industry, because I feel like it's one of those things that people, on the outside maybe don't know much about, like what really goes on. So just give us an idea of what it's been like for you in the entertainment industry.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I've been in the entertainment industry most of my life. I started as an actor at about 6 years old. And I mean, just kind of doing, school plays and stuff. But that's really where the bug sort of bit me and took root in my soul, so to speak. And I became just enamored by being on stage and being watched. And I developed that skill starting about that age. I moved into professional work right around the end of high school and then into college. And I studied theater at the University of Houston, actually acting, singing, and dancing. And I moved on to New York City and studied at Circle in the Square on Broadway, which is a company that was developed by Jose Quintero in the 50s and became a really famous Broadway and off Broadway theater company. And then they started a school that was associated with Tisch, which is the acting school at NYU. So in that time of studying, I was also working, doing a lot of live productions. About maybe 20 years ago, I moved into directing and acting, but I'm beginning to feel more at home in directing. But I still act. I actually just booked a commercial yesterday, which is encouraging. I have an agent, and so I still do commercials and film and television and stage productions as well.
Very cool. So
Yeah.
what's the one thing that, fans like me don't know or really don't understand about what the entertainment industry is like? Because you just mentioned how you've seen it from a lot of
Right.
different angles, from, the on stage to behind the
Hmm.
scenes to production. What's the one
Yeah.
thing that all of us as fans of these productions, what is the one thing we don't see or really don't understand about how it all comes together?
Well, the one thing people don't understand is the immense difference between live production and film and television. It's incredibly different beast, and you can't just instantly transfer from one to the other. You have to actually build skills in both areas if you're going to do both, right? But I
Mhm.
do think it does help if you start out in live production, because that is very demanding and there's really not a lot of space for uh, sort of rookie behavior or making mistakes, because it's live, right? So you got to keep it together. So I think What a lot of people don't know is how long it takes to do things. For instance, if you're working on a commercial and you see like a 30-second commercial spot on TV or on the internet or whatever, it probably took 2 days to shoot that. So, and that's because
Wow.
from every angle that they're shooting, they have to move everything. So if they're trying to get from my POV, which means my point of view, then they would shoot right over my head, right? Or right over my shoulder from like, so it looks like it's coming out of my eyes, what I'm seeing. And so that's one POV. Then they might shoot from the POV of the person I'm talking to. Then they might shoot from the POV of being an audience member, which means you're watching the two of us talk. Then they might shoot down from the ground if somebody was, like a child is down there or a dog or whatever. And that takes, you have to move all the lights, you got to move all the sound, you got to move the cameras. I mean, it's crazy how long it takes to shoot something. I did a movie in, when in 2000, yeah, 2000, I did a movie, and it was just a 30-minute movie, and a short, and that took us 3 weeks to shoot. And then it took them another month in post, which post is editing, so they're splicing everything together, matching up sound, matching up camera, all that. So it took them another month to edit it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people
That
don't know
gives,
that, don't know how much
yeah,
time it yeah.
new appreciation for how it all comes together. So,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what you're doing now with your freelance company and some of the opportunities that you're looking for with that.
Sure. Well, what I'm doing now is I'm working really hard to develop another side of my work, which sort of organically started about 20 years ago, during the time I was moving into directing live productions. And then I got like this side gig at a tech company that utilized my skills in production and offered me the opportunity to take a presentation skills class. And then they asked me to teach that class. So it all happened very organically. But I didn't focus a lot on doing that stuff until the last couple of years. But during the pandemic, I've had time to really build my online presence because I actually didn't know much about doing that stuff, even though that's really a big deal right now, even for actors, is building your online presence. I mean, a lot of times when directors are going to hire an actor, they'll go look at their Instagram and see how many followers they have because they want to know how much audience they're going to get off this person.
Sure.
So I got some great advice from a business coach. Her name's Kelsey Kemp. I cannot say enough about her. She is on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, and go find her if you need help with your business. And decided to focus more on this side of my skill set, this live production stuff, and mostly in the corporate environment. So not necessarily the artistic, creative stage productions, although I'm still doing those. But now I'm actually being hired by event planning companies or directly by a company to come in and help them strategically and creatively plan what their big, say, corporate meeting is going to look like. And when I say look like, I mean like how it's going to look on stage. And then I'm going to help them also source speakers that are specifically speak to whatever the theme is or whatever they're trying to help their employees, grow in or whatever. And yeah, so it's been super fun because my skills as a director just immediately transferred right over to that. And it's more lucrative. So that's encouraging, So
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm having a great time doing this stuff. And then I love working with executives because believe it or not, just because somebody is a successful CEO or a great leader, it doesn't mean they're a great speaker. Right. And they want to be, but they're called to do it all the time. And they don't realize kind of some of their bad habits, or they don't know how to make a presentation that's compelling. So you're looking at a big presentation behind them on a massive screen, and some people just, you get a headache looking at like all the words or too much white space or whatever. And so I kind of help them develop that as well so that the message that they're trying to deliver is very clear and impactful.
That's great. So, for our audience, what's one thing that they could do right now
Mm-hmm.
to start giving better presentations or to show up better when they are called on to speak?
Sure. Well, I
Just
guess I get asked this all the time, especially by my friends. They're like, "Oh, I need help. Help me. I have to talk to like 25 people tomorrow." or I have to talk. They asked me to speak at this event or whatever. I think I just actually did one of the things just now. I just heard myself do it. So there's a couple of things that people do when they speak that they don't realize. And I call them distractions or just habits. I just did it again. I said, So people say, or they say like, especially Westerners, they use the word like a lot. Like they'll say like, when I was, and like that time and like, it can become distracting, right? And you'll start to only hear that. And then people they drown out. And I remember we used to, when I first started teaching this class, and I would work with someone, I was like, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to count all the times you say to help you understand how much you do it. And
Right.
it would be like, 50 in like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And it seems like a big number, but people do it. And what it is it's just a filler. And when you learn to just take a breath or stop and then continue,
Right.
that's where you see people, like when you're watching a TED Talk and you walk away and you think, that person was such a good speaker and so well composed.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they know these tips. This is very simple thing to immediately apply to your speaking that will change.
Great. No, that's great. Great input. So thank you for that.
Sure.
Um, where do you see yourself going in the next couple of years with your practice and the work that you're starting to do with events and then with executives?
Sure. I think I just want a regular calendar of events and executives that I work with annually. And that it's not necessarily something I have to pound the pavement to find. I just already have those relationships and they just happen every year. Because I'm also raising a 12-year-old kid, and these are the years when they really need their parents the most. So I'm not trying to be working like crazy, but I do want some good gigs annually that are predictable and exciting and creative. That's basically, yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now. I have two clients right now that this will be my second time working with them, which is, it's beginning to look like regular gigs with them, which is great. And then I have a couple more that are sourcing with me right now. So we'll see what happens with those guys.
Great, great. Well,
Yeah.
that's good for you. Um, so I just said too, by the way, but
I know right now you're going to hear yourself
yeah,
all day
I'm
long.
gonna hear
You're going to
myself.
go, I know.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's going to drive you crazy now. Sorry.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you before we let you go. Obviously, the events industry has changed a lot over the last two
Mm,
years.
yeah.
Where do you see the future of events going, and what do you feel like is the next thing that's going to be really popular or really exciting as it relates to events?
Well, I got to say that this whole online situation or Zoom meetings or whatever, I don't think they're going to go away even if COVID does, because I
Mhm.
think it's easier and it's cheaper. So that is just going to happen. I have a friend who is an event executive for Google. And I was talking to him 2 weeks ago, and he was giving me a lot of advice because I still don't know how to do the online stuff. And honestly, I don't really need to know. I hire someone to do that, and then I do all the creative stuff. But I'm trying to learn it because I guess I should sort of know about it. And I think that is where we're going. It's not going to change. I think flying people all over the country to come to a huge meeting uh, is gonna it's going to seem silly now because it's so expensive, right? And putting all these people in hotels and then paying for the space and paying for the event planning company. I mean, if you got a company that's say 500 or more and you want to have a meeting with all those people in person and you got to fly them all over the country, you're looking at a good two, three, $400,000 job, right? So
Yeah.
nobody really wants to pay that. so so I think everyone's trying to get on board with this online thing. In fact, one of my gigs in February is half online and half in person. So it's going to be new for me. This is a whole new experience and I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, the hybrid world is definitely here to stay. I think you're
Yeah.
right on the money in that.
Yeah.
So before we let you go, please let people know how they can get in touch with you, how they can find out more about your services, and just sort of where
Sure.
you are online.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, but LinkedIn is more my business. Facebook and Instagram are mostly personal, but I'm okay if you follow me there too. And so if you just go to LinkedIn at Gina Stickley, it's pretty easy to find me there.
Great. Well, we
Yeah.
appreciate you so much for being on the show, and I
Thank
look
you,
forward to
Reggie.
staying in touch. Yeah, thank you, and have a great weekend, everybody. It's always
Yeah.
great to be with you. See you soon. And we're not on next week. It's Black Friday, so we probably won't be. I probably won't be at the stores, but I won't be doing this either. So for
Yeah.
everyone out there, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Hope you get to spend time with your family and just
Hmm.
reflecting on what you're thankful for and what you value in life. So we appreciate everybody. Have a blessed week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.